My story. For over 19 years, I walked around in fear. Fear. That was my struggle. And the sad thing is, I didn't even realize why I was walking around in the fear that I was walking in, and didn't even know that, yeah, that's what it was. That was the root of the problems that I was experiencing. I am one of those. I've been married multiple times. And the reason behind all of that, when I look back in retrospect and think about my life, the reason is when I was a little girl, my dad lived with, it was my dad, my mom, and my siblings. I had five of them. My dad was verbally abusive, he was emotionally abusive, and he was even physically abusive when it came to my mother. And there were times whenever I encountered him, he would say such mean things, or he would give me the meanest look. And especially when he drank, because he was an alcoholic, a functioning alcoholic. He didn't drink all the time, but whenever he did drink, he would accuse you of things that you didn't do. He would blame things on you. And it got to the point where it was so bad. Whenever I was in his presence, I couldn't even look him in the eyes. So he decided to leave when I was 14 years old. And at that time, I had to take on the responsibility as the other adult in the household. Now, mind you, because I had witnessed the things that had happened between him and my mother, and also the way that he treated me because I was the oldest, I carried all of this on into my adulthood. It went from one relationship to another relationship. I've been married multiple times. And whenever the situations got bad, when I think about or when I thought about the things that had happened to my mother, I had made up in my mind I will never, ever allow anyone to hit on me, to mistreat me, to talk down to me. I would never do that. So, being in a marriage, if things were going the way that I thought they should not go, I always looked for a way of escape. I always ran from the situation. So that happened in my first marriage. And then in the second marriage, the same thing happened. Whenever I felt that I was being mistreated, I always looked for a way of escape. So then I was married a third time. And this time, although I'm not legally divorced, I am now separated from my husband. But all of those experiences taught me something, that I was broken and that I was hurting and I was walking in unforgiveness. And that's why I was carrying all of the baggage from one relationship to another relationship to another relationship. And then on top of that, I experienced quite a bit of hurt in the church. God gave me so many gifts. And I know that I've been blessed with all these gifts. But sometimes people in the church, they become intimidated by the gifts that God gives you. And then they begin to talk. And I just believe my pastor always used the example first natural, then spiritual. And of course, that's from the scriptures. And then when I think about that, natural, then spiritual, we all try to go to church. We all deal with things in the church, but we're still human. And things hurt our feelings. And when people say things to us, it can break us. And it's not about church hurt, it's about the hurt. The hurt that I went through at home, the hurt that I experienced in the church, the hurt that I experienced on my job. I've always had to deal with a lot of different hurt. And those things had me bound. The fear. I was always blessed and gifted with a gift of singing. And because of the things that were said about those in the church about me, why do you have to sing all the time? Who do you think that you are? It hurt me. And before I would sing, I would make up every excuse to keep from doing it. But the thing was, I was afraid of what people may say or what people may think if I was asked to do something all the time. So I would run. That's the pattern that I developed. I was one of those that whenever confrontation came my way of escape was to run and to make excuses of why I wouldn't do what it was that I was asked to do. So just recently, this past year, I came to understand that until I forgive my dad, and until I forgive myself, and until I forgive others, I couldn't move forward. I would always walk in a spirit of offense. I would always have a spirit of fear, the spirit of the fear of being criticized, the fear of being judged, the fear of being not enough. Those are some of the things that I encountered and that I went through. But I learned that I was sinning against God. I did not know. Why was I sinning against God? Because remember, God has not given us the spirit of fear. So if I was walking in fear, it wasn't Him. And remember, He tells us to cast all of our cares upon Him because He cares for us. I wasn't doing that. He also said to trust in Him with all of my heart and lean not unto my own understanding. I wasn't trusting Him. I was trying to do it all myself. And I thought I knew the answer, the right thing to do, but I didn't. So when I learned that I was sinning against God, I knew that I had to ask for forgiveness. I had to confess. I had to repent and say, Lord, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. And some of you may have heard the story of the individuals that were given multiple talents. And some of them took their talents and they buried them. And that is my life. God has given me so many gifts and so many talents, and I buried them out of fear. I didn't want anybody to know, yeah, I can sing. I didn't want anyone to know, yes, I'm an encourager. I didn't want anyone to know, yeah, God has called me to ministry because I was always worried about what people would say, how people would judge me, how people would criticize me. When it came to my singing, I always thought I was never the best singer, but I always knew that I was anointed. I always knew that I was gifted. So now that I've gotten past the fear and I've repented and told God just how sorry I am, I had an opportunity to sing at my ministry, at my church. And the multitude of people that told me how my ministry and song blessed their lives, I felt so bad because all I could think about is almost 20 years, 20 years of sitting down on God, not helping His people. And then I began to think, what if He would have sat down on me? What if He would have decided to do what I did to Him to me? So my heart is speaking to those who are struggling like I was. Yeah, I was mentally abused. I was emotionally abused. I was physically abused at times, but I'm not the only one. All things work together for good. And you ask yourself the question, God, why me? Then I have to think about it. Why not you? Didn't realize He was using my life, preparing me for such a time as this, that my life is a living testimony to someone else that struggle with fear, to someone else that is not walking in their calling, to someone else who's not sure of what to do and don't know how to love and don't know how to forgive. Galatians 5:1 says, Christ has set us free to live a free life. And I was not free. Even when I wrote determined to be free, I wasn't free. I wasn't free. But guess what? Now I'm free. I've surrendered. I've forgiven those that hurt me. Now I say, God, teach me how to love those that may be different from me. Teach me how. to love them because you love us, God, in spite of our differences. We all sin. So there is not one of us who lives a perfect life. None of us. So I don't have a right to judge, and neither do you. When I was going through the process of asking God to change my heart, I also had to ask Him, Lord, show me me. And when I prayed that prayer, I began to weep because He really began to reveal who I was. Girl, did you know that you walk in a spirit of pride? Girl, did you know that you have a problem with judging other people? Girl, did you know that you have a tendency to look down on those who may be different than you? It broke me. It crushed me because I didn't know. I didn't know. But now I know. And I say, God, set me free. Never do I want to walk around prideful. Never. I'm grateful. I'm thankful, but not prideful. Never do I ever want to judge people. Yeah, you may be sinning, but who am I? We all sin. But I had to realize that and have God reveal it to me. So, what I want you to do, if you're going through something, stop blaming yourself. Ask God, Lord, show me me. Show me what the problem is. And if you go before him and you pray that prayer, he will show it to you. He will have it coming across your face so fast you'll be like, Lord, really? This is who I am? He will do it. So if you are living in fear, if you've had a bad experience in your marriage, yes, that was me. I had bad experiences. If your children are not doing what you have trained them up to do, that's okay. You plant the seed and God provides the increase. You do what you have to do. So now I look at my life as I have 24 hours in a day to get Jackie together. I don't have not a minute or a second to try to correct someone else. Each and every day, I just want to live more like Jesus Christ. I want to love like him. I want to serve like him. The humility that he possessed, I want that. All of the fruits of the Spirit, I want them. More love, more peace, more joy. I want that. And I also want that for you. So when I say I'm determined to be free, I'm determined to break free, that's my desire for you. So I am now on a mission to help those who are living in bondage. I want to show you how to become free and to be set free and how to break free. I am determined for real to be free and to stay free. So I love you. I love you with all my heart. And I want us to come together and learn to break free from all of these things. God has blessed us. And we cannot allow the enemy to take from us what God has given because the enemy only comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Do not let him steal your joy. Do not let him kill your dream. And do not let him destroy your passion. So if you are willing to break free, then I want you to join this journey with me. Again, I love you. I love you. And I love you. Love you with the love of Jesus Christ. Be blessed. Bye bye for now.